Hey, in this video we are going to talk about operators in JavaScript. I'm not going to talk about all the operators in JavaScript because it's almost same across all the languages. If you are read one language, you are familiar with almost all the operators. So we really don't want to talk about the same again and again here. But what we are going to do is we are going to pick few operators which is very important in JavaScript, and we are going to just discuss about those. So these are kind of few important JavaScript operators which we should be kind of really aware about it. In last video we have seen type of operator. This helps us to check the type of any variable which we declared. Based on that we can do some decision. So that since we have seen this already, we are going to remove it. And we have something called triple equal to operator and new operator. There is another one called instance of operator, and the basic arithmetic operations that we can do on string. So that's what we are going to talk about in this video. First we'll talk about triple equal to operator. So we know what is this double equal to, right? So you can check two variables whether it's equal or not. If it is equal, it's going to say true or false. So why we need 3 equal to? In 2 equal to, if it is a equal to a, it will be true. Or 5 equal to 5, it will be true. But what happens to this? In C or Java programming language. In C or Java programming language, this will result as false. But in JavaScript, it's true. Because the JavaScript just checks only the content. So here it's 5 and here is also 5. But it's not going to check the type of these two variables. Here it's integer, here it's string. So JavaScript is not going to bother about it if you use double equal to. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's true. But if we are kind of shocked. How come it's true? Because it's string, it's integer, it's not possible. Okay, so that's where JavaScript brings in a new operator called triple equal to. What it does, it checks first the type of the variable, whether it's equal or not. If the type of the variable is equal, then it goes and checks the content of the variable. If that is also true, then it says it's true. If either one is not true, then it says false. So that's kind of like strict mode operator, we can also say that. So because it checks the content, it checks the type, and it checks the content. Now let's see what happens. It's false because it's the type is not same. Let's say what happens now. It's true. It checks the type as well. Okay, that's what the triple equal to operator is. Let's talk about operator called new. If you are familiar with C++ and Java programming language, dynamic memory allocation, and I don't think that we should really talk about it because it's not different from that. So you have something called name, okay, and you can assign name something like that, or you can do another way, creating a new string object and assigning it to name. So how do you create a new string object? Using a keyword called new. Okay, then you just need to call the string function constructor. Okay, that's it. So what happens when we call new? When you call new, it creates a new object, okay, and this new object will be passed to string constructor. Okay, how? String constructor has this pointer. Okay, so then the string constructor uses this pointer that is nothing but the empty object which is created by operator new, and it starts setting the properties. The string function uses this empty object and starts setting the properties so that it has all the data which we intended. That means like we need a string object and assign the value styling to it. So that's what the string new does. So what new does? New just creates empty object, and the empty object it passes to the constructor as this pointer. That's it. So there is something called instance of. Okay, it's really important to understand instance of. It's going to help you in many ways. I'm going to talk about function now, not in detail, just as in a syntax way, because we'll be using that to understand instance of operator. Forget about function here. Don't bother much about the syntax and semantics of function and the working principles, because we'll spend good amount of time understanding functions in later videos. So how do you declare functions? Function and the function name and the body. That's it. Okay. Student empty function. Forget about it because we are not going to spend much time on student function. Suppose you think that we have something called student class and I'm going to create a new object for it. Okay. Student. So I created a new object, and think about that, like I'm going to pass this student to some other function, and that function is written in a generic way, and it's going to only react if this particular object is instance of student, otherwise it's not going to do anything. Okay, so for example, like I'm going to say function do something. Okay, it's going to receive an object, and here I should only start doing some operations if the object is instance of student, otherwise I will not be doing anything. So that's my kind of business logic. Okay, and if obj instance of student, then I'm processing, else object is not an instance of student. Object is not part of instant. Object is not an instance of student. Okay, let's call this guy. I'm processing because it's instead of student. Suppose to check, let's create one more. called human. Okay, and I'm going to create human object instead of, and I'm going to pass this object to process method. Let's see what it prints. And cortex and undefined to 2. Okay, let's say object is not an instance students. I think now you understand what is the need of instance of, right? Yeah. So now we'll talk about operations on string. String is the basic data structure. String plays a bigger role in any programming language. Manipulating string is one of the greatest data structure in the industry. And providing a more easiest way to play around strings is most important in any programming language. JavaScript is really great in that. You can use the basic arithmetic operators to play around string. Take an example. We have something called first name Stalin, last name Subramani. If we just wanted to construct first name, you can use plus operator and last name. Same like adding two numbers and just print. Stalin Subramani. And you just wanted to give some space. That's it. Stalin Subramani. Okay, that's simple. What else? You can check which string is bigger. If you wanted to do an like string comparison, like which is greater and which is less, you kind of need to write logic, ASCII level logic in C programming language. Okay, but in JavaScript you can directly go ahead and use the greater than or less than operators. Let's see if we declare two variable. Okay, str1 equal to a, just check a, and variable str2 equal to b. By looking at that, I can say which is bigger, which is smaller. A is smaller and b is bigger because A's ASCII value is 92 and b is 93. So if you check, if you compare in terms of ASCII value, b is bigger, and if you use str1 is smaller than str2, so this is going to say true because of the ASCII value. So it takes care, you can give too many characters, it doesn't matter, it compares against all the character in the string. Okay, so that's beauty of strings in JavaScript. Okay, thanks for watching, see you guys in next video.